Welcome back to this Friday.
Is it Friday?
It is Friday.
Wow.
Hold on, let me get you up here on the screen here, Dana. There you are. It is Friday, and we got some pretty bad weather coming our way tonight, so we can keep our fingers crossed and pray that it doesn't hit. It don't have no tornadoes hit our house, but we got some large hail and damaging winds and all kinds of stuff. So it's moving in from the west. It's in Mississippi right now. Hope it's not anywhere that y'all are today. Well, listen, we got a couple of good cases covered tonight, but we got some bad news, some really super bad news to report first thing. Marquise Duncan was found deceased today, and they said it is a homicide. This is the picture of him where we had the mother that gave us the video. Tuskegee student missing since February the 23rd of this year. This is the report came on. It says the body of Tuskegee, a body was found in Tuskegee Thursday, has not been identified, but and then it says it had, Thursday and has been identified. I apologize there. This says the body is identified as 23-year-old Marquise Duncan. Duncan's body was found near Alabama Avenue and B Avenue in Tuskegee. Authorities said the body, it appears that it's been there for 3 weeks. Now, I'll be honest with you, I do not see how a body can stay anywhere around a neighborhood for 3 weeks without people reporting a horrible odor. His last seen has been by his friends on February 23rd at his home. Tuskegee police are investigating his death as a homicide. They're asking for any type of information to call the Tuskegee Police Department or Crime Stoppers. And I want to show you a picture of the area. This where that little thing is, Alabama Avenue and B Street. Now, you can see, and I looked at a street view of this area, and these houses are not real bad shaped houses. This is not the projects, unless the picture of, is deceiving and what it could be right now. But you can see, how can a body be laying in an area of that intersection without people noticing the smell of it, for one thing, but also it's not a heavily wooded area. That trees there to the top of the picture, that's very, very deceiving. The street view did not look like those trees were a thicket of trees. It did not. Now, it may be, like I said, it may be since this picture was taken, it might be a concealed area, but I'm serious. A street view, if you go to Alabama Avenue and B Street and Tuskegee on Google Earth and then do a street view, the houses are not real bad shape, and they're brick, and they're not, it doesn't appear to be what I would call the hood, and it doesn't appear to that thicket of trees unless it's seriously grown up since the picture was taken. It does not appear to be a real heavy thicketed area. I just don't understand how the body could lay out there 3 weeks without somebody saying something,
How long was he there the whole time?
Huh?
Does it appear he was there the whole time?
Well, look, here's what it says here. Duncan's body was found near Alabama Avenue and B Street. Well, it doesn't say, it says near, but it's still, the body appeared to have been there for weeks.
God.
They're not saying 3 weeks, weeks.
Okay, y'all.
All of March, maybe.
Y'all, I did reach out to his mother, and gave her our condolences and told her that we would be praying for the family. And think about the past 3 weeks. It's not been cold.
No, it's not. And
we've had some extremely warm days, and that's south of us.
Even as Rose says it sounds, when a animal, human, and you're talking about a large animal or human, when they die, they pass away, their body starts to decompose, and with that decompose, they do start to put off an odor, and that's what I'm saying. I don't understand how that he could lay in an area for weeks and not be discovered. That to me is just totally flooring to me. It really is.
Well, unless it's an older neighborhood and they just don't get out.
Might be. I mean, I looked at the street view. Street view did appear to be older houses. The brick, but they were nice. I mean, it's not like
but in older neighborhoods where they're in their 70s and 80s, they don't get out, and they don't open their windows and doors because they're cold natured.
Yeah, but one thing you got to think about: do you have meter readers up and down that area?
That's true.
Do you have people that check their, your water and your meters in that area? You have. I'm just telling you, I don't understand how a body can lay out side like that for that length of time and nobody discover it. Maybe we'll hear something about it later. Maybe he was covered up with something. You know what I mean? I don't know. And I would love to know how close to the roadway he was. Maybe somebody will hear about it sometime. But, there was that case where the girl's car was found in the woods, that time. And it could have been there 4 or 5 weeks, even a couple of months, and we never hear anything about that other than it was possible suicide. That's all we heard. But they're ruling this as a homicide.
Okay, Aaron wants to know, Thomas, do you think he was recently put there?
Not what that says in the article.
Not according to the police report.
Not according to our article there. It appeared that he'd been there for weeks because they might have said it appeared his body was just placed there because they can tell from the decomposition of the body, plus the fluids would soak into the ground. So, a lot of that stuff, who knows? I don't know the whole story of how he was found, other than what I showed you there. It was a sad day anyway for his mother. You think about that. This guy was studying chemical engineering, so he's a very, very smart guy. And to have his life snuffed out, basically, over a homicide, and we don't know the reason, the motives, or even if they've got a suspect yet.
Martin asked if we were in lockdown because of COVID. We're not in lockdown because of COVID. It's just today they took away the masks, so there's no mask mandate anymore. But in older communities, they would have stayed in.
Yeah, in the United States, different states it's mostly state controlled. The federal government can come out with this thing and say, unless it's a federal law, it's state control. Each state, and our governor in Alabama just let up on the mask mandate and the better stay-at-home order. Basically, she hasn't opened up everything and gave permission for everything to be open. But she says private businesses can require masks, but for the whole state, she had passed this thing saying there's no more mask ordinance. But let me go back to that. Even with the mask ordinance, there was no law against wearing a mask. I mean,
no laws
requiring it. You can't. They couldn't write a ticket. They couldn't make an arrest or anything. So it didn't have any bite to it to begin with. In my opinion, the law didn't. The order didn't have any bite with it.
MH, you are so funny.
What do you say?
I'm going to be wearing my mask. It saves me from the trouble of putting on makeup.
I always like it because then I could say what I wanted to, and nobody could tell who I was.
I like going through there and seeing smiling faces.
Okay. Now, we're going to cover a couple of people, and I'm going to hold the last one. I'll probably put it in different order, but we're going to cover one that Plunder covered today first. And I thought about not covering this case because I thought, you know what, she's already covered it. She did a pretty good job. Why should I? But this is a case right now that needs a lot of eyes on it, needs a lot of people looking into it, needs a lot of people praying about it, and it's very disturbing to me. The girl here that has disappeared in Baton Rouge, or Baton Rouge, as it's said, is a LSU freshman reported missing last Tuesday, April the 6th.
Oh, she's so pretty.
It's just, yeah, she's a beautiful girl. Her name is Kori, I think is Gauthier is something French. Gauthier, it's French anyway. And you know, Baton Rouge, the area down there is a French type of, they speak Creole and French. So, but it's English, but it's got a Creole touch to it. And I'm telling you, if you have somebody from down there in Louisiana, sometime and even though I was raised in the South, I can't understand the word.
No.
It's a dialect is something. But anyway, what happened with this girl is this, and I'm telling you, the police department down there, and I never hardly talk bad about the police. It's just because I'm retired. I hardly ever do it. But they dropped the ball, people. They dropped the ball. I'm going to start kind of in the middle. This girl's car was found abandoned on the bridge I-10 and going into Baton Rouge. Right here's the bridge. It was found by another car that could not stop for it. It was stopped, parked in the road, and the other car hit it. It was involved in an accident. I'll show you a picture of the accident here. She was driving the white car. Plunder said something that I didn't hear reported anywhere else. She said the car was running. They reported the car was running. But if the car was running, they probably would have had the lights on. And I don't see any lights on in this picture here from the wreck. Because if she wasn't involved, if she was involved in it, even if they had damage, they might have showed a little bit of lights on in the car. This car came up on the white car, parked in the middle of the road, and he couldn't stop, couldn't avoid it, and he hit the car. When they checked the car, there was nobody inside of it. It was parked directly on top of the bridge. Well, police come to the scene. They cannot locate the car, the owner, the cell phone, ID, everything was in the car. They just call a wrecker and have it towed to the junkyard.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't notify her parents, didn't call to see if they could find out who was the owner of the car. They didn't do anything. They dropped the ball, totally dropped the ball. Well, the parents didn't know anything about her being involved in an accident, didn't even know she's missing. The next day, her work calls, says, hey, she didn't show up for work today. The school is reporting she's not in any of her classes. So the family panics. They say, hey, where is she at? What's happened? They call the police department. They call everything. Well, nobody. The police didn't put two and two together that who owns the car. They didn't even look for the driver that night. Well, they do a ping on her phone. And maybe somebody had that find a phone thing like we have on our kids' phones. And they found it in this junkyard. They went out there, and then they found out that she was involved in a wreck on the I-10 bridge. So, and her phone and her wallet and everything was in the car. Now,
is that an Acura?
I'm not sure, but here's the thing with this. She had an argument with her boyfriend prior to heading, and she had punched into her GPS on her phone, or they found it, or GPS in her car, for her aunt's house. Not back at LSU campus, but for her aunt's house. So she was headed, according to the GPS, she was heading to her aunt's house when her car was found abandoned on the bridge. Now, there's very little right now cooperation with the police like in Baton Rouge. I think LSU police are working the case because of the LSU student. Baton Rouge police is picking up the ball now, realizing, hey, we screwed up. First off,
was it a young officer?
I'm not sure anything about the officers. All we know is, listen, if a police come out and there is a car parked on the bridge with nobody in it, they can't say, oh, well, it's just broke down car and you had this wreck cause accident. but the phone
right
and the ID was inside the car.
Martin wants to know, hard to believe that there were no traffic cameras on the bridge.
Well, yeah, I don't know. They're not saying anything about it. And then here's the thing: if you look up here on this this thing, you see they're underneath the iron structure. It appears they're underneath the iron structure. Do you see what I'm talking about? The iron structure. Now look at this pictures of the bridge. The iron structure on the left-hand side of this picture that's coming from where she would come from, all the way, and then she would go to Baton Rouge is on the running to the right-hand side of the picture. There are some people that believe that she was very distraught over some argument she had with her boyfriend. Maybe broke up, maybe, I don't know what it was about. We don't know what it's about. They worry that she jumped off the bridge. She parked her car, walked out there and jumped off the bridge.
That makes no sense.
It makes no sense to me.
She put in the GPS the address of the aunt.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, why would she go and jump off the bridge, you know?
No.
This is a picture also of what if the bridge would look like. I'm not sure which way this is going. We may be looking, she may have been headed towards us. And if she did, why didn't that car take that outside lane? I kind of think there's 3 lanes there. I don't understand why he didn't. The car's parked in the middle of the road. I don't know why he didn't avoid it.
Sketty says they have been searching the river and have had boats and drones and planes looking along the waterway.
I know that. Cajun Navy. The Cajun Navy is come to the aid. The uncle has got on TV. He put $10,000 of his own money down on finding her alive, and the Cajun Navy stepped up, and they are looking on the river and on the bank and on the levees. And here's what I'm thinking too. If by chance she did go into the river or the lake, her body will turn up. If she went into the river, her body will turn up. There's no doubt. Well, I'm going to show you one other picture here.
Gosh, that's so sad.
Now look at this picture of the bridge. See that right down there below the bridge on that picture? That big white thing in the water? That's a sunken barge.
And that's what I was wondering.
That's a sunken barge underneath that water there. From this height, you would be able to see the sunken barge. Now, if she was, say, on that and jumped off the bridge into that the grassy area over there on either side, she would have been found by now. I just, she could have been distraught, parked her car and jumped off the bridge. Or she could have been her boyfriend. Of course, I don't know anything about the boyfriend, don't know his name. It's been reported that he deleted all of his social media accounts. She probably was feeling some heat from people wanting to know what's going on. Somebody could have been in the car with her. They could have forced her to stop and took her in another car. The one thing makes it super bad is this. When the police didn't try to contact their parents that night, they didn't process the car.
Gosh.
Everybody's touched that car, from the record driver to whoever in the junkyard area that's touched the car, that's went into the car. We're not sure who all touched it now.
Right. T.S. Jackson said, if it hadn't been for the record driver, my former stepmom's body would not have been found in the toolbox when the killer called to tell where her truck was.
That's awful. It's awful.
Did anybody talk to her before she went on the road? Left.
There's nothing right now. He just basically, the uncle has just basically come through with the family getting this stuff together because, the police didn't start this. They went to the police after she didn't show up for work. after they got reports that she wasn't in school and didn't show up for work. They were freaking out. They didn't even know where she'd been in an accident. They called the hospitals. They called the jails. They called the police. Police said, we have no report on her at all.
Okay. April 6th. Oh, wait a minute. Beach Bum. It was April 6th that she disappeared. Lori said she seemed stable. She had a lot going for her. She was a dance instructor.
Yes, she was a dance instructor. Also, she had an orthodontist appointment that day. The next day, she was they said she was very smart, very well liked. Their uncle said on here, and I'll let you read it, said basically that at no time in her life had she ever give her parents a reason to worry about her. She was, she's a freshman at LSU.
Sketty said, I think her mom had talked to her and knew about the fight with the boyfriend.
May have, but I just don't know how serious the fight was.
Yeah.
I guess that is, and what the fight was about.
Is the state police or FBI involved?
Not that I know of, and not that it's been reported. And here's what you got to remember about the FBI, okay? The FBI can be asked to be involved as far as sharing and helping out, but she has not committed any crime yet. And until they can prove that maybe a suspicion of being kidnapped or something like that, the FBI has no jurisdiction.
Don't they get involved in all kidnappings?
They do in kidnappings,
yeah.
but unless you rob a bank, commit a federal crime, or you cross state lines, they can't, or they do something over the web to bring somebody in from out of state. They really have no jurisdiction. And this one says a missing LSU student from, and I can't pronounce it. Yep. Says that he had no idea that the family of her said no idea that Cora's vehicle had been involved in a crash on the Baton Rouge Bridge on Interstate 10 until they learned that she had not shown up for class, work, or a doctor's appointment, or her dorm. Upon learning that the 19-year-old was missing Wednesday afternoon, the family sprang into action in a desperate attempt to locate the woman. And that's when Spencer Gauthier, her uncle, says they pinged the woman's cell phone location and led them to a Baton Rouge salvage yard where her phone was found inside her totaled car. The license plate was still on the vehicle, according to her uncle, and her wallet was removed by police who responded to the wreck. Well, at least the wallet was removed by police, but I want to know, why didn't the police try to contact this girl and try to at least contact the parents of her and say, hey, did you know, or can we like to check why she was involved in action? Is she hurt? Is she okay? That doesn't make any sense to me. As a retired law enforcement, it makes no sense on why they didn't follow up more. They dropped the ball. I'm going to tell you, the guys that investigated this dropped the ball. 100%. It's their fault.
I cannot believe it.
Said nobody reached out from the wreck. The uncle said no police, no ambulance, nothing. I don't know where the ball was dropped. I can tell you where it dropped. The guy that answered the call and investigated the accident, they dropped it. At the point, family began reaching out to law enforcement agencies, hospital, jails, trying to locate her and piece together what had happened. They eventually learned Wednesday night the wreck that happened on the Baton Rouge Bridge at 1 a.m. Wednesday, involving Cora's vehicle. No one was found inside or around the wrecked car, according to her uncle. He said the family is fearful she may have fallen into the Mississippi River while trying to exit the vehicle after the crash, or someone may have taken her away from the scene. Well, one thing is, her car might have quit. I don't think she was there at the time of the accident, but
if it would, she would have taken her phone and her wallet. You
would think, but somebody might have jerked her out. She might have been stopped on the road at 1 o'clock in the morning. Somebody might have been stopped, came around, jerked her out of the car. Anything could have happened. I don't see her just stopping the car and jumping out and hopping over the bridge. First off, normally, anybody even going to kill themselves, they'll go over there and contemplate it for a while. Other than that, you know what I mean? I just don't see that. And if plunder is correct and the vehicle was still running, it happened within minutes of that accident, whatever happened to her, in my opinion. You would eventually get in touch with the driver of the other vehicle involved in the accident, who told him he could not find the driver of the vehicle in the aftermath of the wreck. The driver of the vehicle did not immediately respond to messages left by the advocate in this story. Well, you know, some paper calls me, I probably won't call him back either. He told KATC that he was driving in the outside lane of the bridge when he came upon Cora's parked car. He said he tried to avoid hitting it, but he couldn't move over because of traffic and struck a car. Baton Rouge police spokesman confirmed that the wreck had happened and noted that LSU is handling the missing person side of the investigation.
This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous that the police didn't follow it. Man, why is LSU handling the disappearance at the wreck? The car was in Baton Rouge area. That didn't make any sense. And I'm not downing the university police, but university police don't have the manpower, the resources, and everything to follow up a missing person case like the city police do. I'm telling you, they just don't. I've worked with university police. They're very qualified to handle university on university crime. But something like this, you need somebody who's going to have the resources that's going to be able to find this girl. Let's see if there's anything else in this thing. Uncle Spencer wrote on their Facebook pleading for information about her location. Now, I did see a video of his, and he begged for any type of friends, people with boats, people with drones, anybody that could go help on foot to search out all of these areas. But I'm telling you, if she did not jump in the river, she did not kill herself, I don't think she's by the bridge. And you remember, this is almost the exact same bridge that girl, the preacher's wife, that her phone went missing on the bridge, and then they found her car and everything in that shipping container. This is almost the exact same area. Yeah, it was Baton Rouge. That's where that I thought. No, that was West Memphis. That was West Memphis. I was
thinking, right?
Yeah, you're right. I'm confused on that. But it's the same thing. It's a daggum bridge. Her cell phone and wallet were inside, but she was not yet located. The car, the phone, the wallet, everything has been found, the uncle said on Facebook video. I just haven't been able to find my niece physically, but I'm not giving up on her. Now, here's another thing. Apparently, there's a lot of chatter on Facebook and on the internet that she's been found. A bunch of chatter. She's been found. She's been found. She has not been found, people. She's not been found anywhere. And the same way with this other guy that we're going to cover next, he has not been found. There's tons of Facebook pages. There's YouTube videos that say so-and-so is found. I saw them too, and I watched the whole video, found out they have not been found. That's right. It's just, I don't know if that's just clickbait, but whoever's doing that needs to stop it. And that's what the uncle said. Please don't put out that she's been found, because she has not. People, they quit looking. If they were to see her in a mall, shopping mall, being manhandled or whatever, they just say, oh, she's been found. That's over with. She's not been found. Okay? Let's see.
They said, Martin said, no cameras on the bridge, just looked.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big wow.
Yeah. Or, there may be cameras on the bridge that are not reporting into there. Like Alabama's got ALDOT cameras. They call it the Alabama Department of Transportation cameras. And you can look on their cameras, and they're all over the place. But some of those, like traffic cams, those are not accessible by civilians. So I'm wondering if traffic cams before the bridge picked her car up with her in it and saw anything, maybe can confirm that she was by herself. Said, everyone, I need your help. Please share the picture of my niece, Cora. She is not been seen since April the 6th. She's a freshman at LSU. The vehicle was involved in an accident, currently in a junkyard, and which I can understand too why that the car was taken to a junkyard. Usually they carry it to like a record service, and then so insurance and everything can be there. On the Mississippi, it said involved in an accident at Mississippi River Bridge. Hold on a second. Hey, Michael.
Stop, go.
Our dog's they've just been outside and they want a treat for going outside, and if they don't get their treat,
somebody else says yes, they have traffic cams. So
okay. I've checked personally. It says I checked every hospital, jail, coroner's office, name it. No sign of her. Said I'll personally pay $10,000 to anyone that leads her home. Said I need my niece. He put up $10,000 of his own money to try to get her if she is taken by something. She's 18 years old, 5'5", weight 120 pounds, dark brown hair and brown eyes. She is a black female.
Stop. I can.
So they say any information, call Baton Rouge Police or LSU Police, and I really hope that the state police get involved in this. I really do. Somebody can bring some money and resources.
Diane says, because we had snow, I remember they showed it on the bridge. So maybe they do have cameras on the bridge.
Okay. Let's see.
Lori said, I don't think someone abducted her. I don't think someone abducted her elsewhere and abandoned the car on the bridge. No. That would be weird.
No. Could have came up on cars blocking the road and something happened.
But it was obvious there was traffic that night because the guy said he couldn't get over.
Right. Or he was in a bunch of cars.
Yeah, so there was other vehicles on the road. Somebody
saw something, Somebody had to see something. While seeking answers, their uncle said the family learned of the argument between Cora and her boyfriend that had taken place Tuesday night. They believe the woman may have been on her way to her aunt's house based on the address entered into her GPS, her car GPS. Yeah, you have to enter that address in there. You just can't unless I guess you could. A lot of them talk it into it. They talk about the thing. It's just a bizarre. It's a bizarre case. Late Wednesday night, the uncle said that officer with the LSU Police Department told the family they were going to search for Cora by helicopter and boat. Spencer said that he has been unable to get an update from his brother, the woman's father, since then because him and his wife are emotionally distraught. LSU Police Department spokesman said Thursday afternoon the investigation is ongoing, and they still are searching for her. Thursday mornings, the uncle posted on Facebook, and I said that they offered a $10,000 reward. He was driving from Houston, Texas to Baton Rouge, and Thursday morning would assist the family in the search efforts. This uncle, man, I'd really love to shake his hand. He really has came out and kind of put up money and really wanting to get his niece back.
Martin said he crossed the bridge twice on Google Earth lights, no cameras. I don't know. Well, it could be old Google Earth stuff.
Yeah. He said, this is what Spencer's uncle says, if I had to paint a picture of a model child, a model personality, it would be Cora. Someone who never gave her parents any issues at any level, the sweetest person you would ever meet. She would volunteer and help other youth, teaching them how to dance and other things. It was raising flags when she didn't show up for her class, a doctor's appointment, work. She didn't answer calls, and we knew something was wrong. I personally, unless, I just can't see her just stopping her car in the middle of the highway and going and jumping in the river. I just can't see it. That almost, to me, looks like a setup. Either somebody was in the car with her and parked her car and they jumped in another car and, they took her away. Maybe she, I'd want to try to retrace her driving from where she left when the GPS was turned on and plugged in the aunt's house. How many minutes ago? Where did she stop on any stores on the way up there? We've had several abductions of late that we've reported on where the young black female will stop at a store to get gas or whatever. She'll get abducted, either in her car or somebody else's car. They could have been two cars involved. This just scenario. Could have drove up, parked her car. Everybody could have got into the bad guy's car and took off. So everybody immediately thinks she was distraught over the argument and then jumped into the river. I'm just saying that I just can't believe that this girl that has never had any problems in her life, doesn't use drugs, doesn't do anything, is going to get into an argument with her boyfriend, then stop her car and jump off the bridge. I don't know. I just don't see it. So, I hope that they don't find her in the river. I hope they don't find her body anywhere. And I'm hoping that she's alive somewhere, and maybe that they can free her through money or somebody tells something. It's very, very bizarre. This case is one of the most bizarre missing person cases that I've read about or heard about. I listened to some of Gray Hughes, and I turned it off. I just could not agree with a bunch of the stuff that was being said on there. They apparently, some of their people have some people calling in saying some really bizarre stuff too. But I just believe that there's something else went wrong before you get to the bridge. I just don't believe that she did. Now, if you look up here on this bridge, you were talking about cameras, no cameras. You look at this picture. What is that? Is that if you go down, let me see. Let's start on the left-hand side of this picture. If you're staring at the picture on your left, you're looking at it. Go down 3 of those metal things going up. The one that's slanted forward, where that attaches to the one going straight up. Is that a camera? I'm wondering where would you put a camera? It would be, would they put them on the center of that thing? Or, I don't know that I would spot one if I saw one, It'd be great but here's another thing. If they know there's not a camera on the bridge, wouldn't that be a perfect way to stage somebody jumped? There's not a camera on the bridge? I don't know. It's just my opinion. I don't, I can't. I want to tell you all about that. Here is some pictures of that girl too. Suspicious circumstances, they're calling it. Yeah, I'd say so. Found her abandoned car eastbound side. Eastbound, okay. Yeah, that would be coming into. Well, would that be, somebody look at the big map of that. Would East be coming into Baton Rouge or coming out of Baton Rouge?
Okay, here's the thing about cameras. I'm back. Okay. I got it pulled up. Cameras are traffic monitoring tools that assist drivers and emergency personnel. Currently, we have cameras that allow us to view the entire eastbound and westbound portions of the bridge.
Okay, well, they ought to be able to see that. They ought to be able to see what happened.
We're going to hear now the cameras weren't working that night.
Yeah, we ought, if they got cameras that monitor both east and westbound sides, but somebody go over to Google Earth and tell me eastbound, is that going into the city or out of the city? Somebody could tell me that. I don't. because I meant to take a full picture. This picture here I'm showing now is the eastbound going into the bridge or out of the, into the city or out of the city.
Oh, wait, I might have seen it on there. Oops.
Pull up Google Earth and you can see it. East and west, east or west. I'm not sure.
I-10 at Eastern Lane, I-10. Mm-hmm.
This is some of the people looking for her body. This is Marine Police, the state Marine Police.
Come on.
But that river, the Mississippi River, has got all kinds of undercurrents, all kinds of trash in it. So a body could theoretically go underwater there,
be held
get hung up into a tree or something underwater, and it might be years before it actually came up. I'm sure that the police are, as soon as they get, if they feel safe enough, they'll send down underwater divers and try to check around the bridge. But you got to remember this too: that barge is still down there, so obviously it's probably pretty swift and undercurrents, not safe for diving. Did you look at the big map?
I can't tell.
Let me see the big map. Let me see your.
Martin went on Google Earth. He can tell us.
Okay.
It's east into the city, Martin said.
Okay. East into the city. Well, that makes a big thing because I think, if I'm not mistaken, that the right side of this bridge is going into the city, if I'm not mistaken. And when I'm saying that is this big thing, she could have, how would you know you're over water? Because this big iron structure is over the land for a good bit of time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because when you go over the water, that's where the those things start.
Well, you look, it's over land. That's on there. It's over land for about a quarter of the bridge span there, just a little bit where that iron thing is. There's land there. See it? Where those buildings, warehouses are?
Yeah.
It's a good bit of it right there still over that. But if they've got cameras and if they were working, then they ought to know. They ought to know what happened to her. You got cameras and they're monitoring the bridge. But see, that's another thing. Why didn't the officer, when he hands this abandoned car with a phone and a wallet in it, he takes the wallet as evidence because it's got all his identification of her in there. Why didn't he try to locate somebody that night, one, find out if she's at home, or if she's at
taken to the hospital?
Taking the hospital or anything? And another thing is, why didn't he check with the Department of Transportation and say, look, we need all your films on this bridge to find out where this person went to? Did she jump off or whatever,
Beach Bum says, was she familiar with the area? She's probably been through there before. Which she probably had going to college.
Her aunt's house,
going to college.
Yeah. So this is a bizarre case. Very bizarre. The next few days, we need to really watch this and follow it. Hopefully somebody is going to ask or get in touch with the uncle and say, hey, we've heard that they got cameras on that bridge the whole way. Can you please have them pull the films on there? Because I'm sure it's not just a monitoring situation. It would have to be a camera that records for like 30 days so that they can,
Well, but now
whatever.
That's just like, okay, let me say this first. Brittany says, is it normal for him to take anything out of the car, the police officer to take it?
Yeah. If I was working a scene where there was a car accident and the car was left in the middle of the road, if the wallet was there, I would take it. One is for safekeeping, if it had money in it. And two is if it has an ID in it, to try to find out who has been driving the car, if they were hurt, if they were a local hospital. I would try to find out by notifying, calling her school, calling her where she had the address. I'd even, if she lived on campus, what I would do is ask campus police to go by our residence and see if she was there. That's what I would do.
Okay, what I was going to say, this kind of, whether or not they've even looked at the cameras, we don't know. But the Millette case in California, her brother-in-law and sister-in-law said that the police told them they had 100 hours of video to look at from the neighbors on the different sides of the roads and everything. It's been 3 months and the police have not told them one thing. How long does it take to look at a video of 100 hours?
Well, it depends on what other cases they got working and if they think it's a homicide or not.
Well, they did say, the police officer did say, they interviewed somebody and he said when he went to the house, there was a hole punched in the door that somebody had fixed, a recent hole because it had been recently fixed, and that the windows were all up in the house and there were fans airing it out. So.
Okay, we'll talk about that in another time because I got something else I want to touch on. But, I hope somebody will get the ball rolling. But I think they should have taken the phone too. If it had been me, I probably would have taken the wallet to identify somebody and taken the phone also to see if, you could flip it open and see if there's a number from mom, dad, or something, and then make a phone call right then. Is your daughter have a car, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We found it on the bridge up here. It is abandoned, involved in an accident. We can't find her.
Would they said the tag.
That's what we would have done.
The tag was still on there. They could have run the tag. Probably still at mom's residence, because she's a college student. It's probably still registered for the mom and dad's.
There was a whole bunch of stuff that could have been done by the police that wasn't done. So we need to be really keeping an eye on this case and see what's happening with this thing. Now I know I don't know if is anybody else on tonight. Do you know if I'll be butting in at 8:00?
Okay, listen real quick.
I got another one.
I know we're going to talk about the Millette case in just a minute, but MH says, Miss T, they just released a video from a neighbor's house on the Millette case where 6 gunshots were heard from Maya's house on the night she fought with her husband. That is not good.
Y'all keep up with this case, and let's keep a close eye on it. There's one other case that I want to touch on. There's not much information on it, but I do want to touch on it now. I want you to think about it. This is Tyler, and I'll tell you his last name here. I think it's Chastain.
You and I did not communicate, but I was looking at him today.
Yeah. We do communicate. It's just not about this. Tyler, is that Christian? Christian.
I can't.
17 years old. Left home. Christensen.
Sorry.
17 years old. Left home to go to a church picnic, basically is what he said, or a church outing is what he said. He was last seen walking near Beverly Park Road on his way to a youth group meeting, basically at a church. That's what he told his parents that he was going to do. However, detectives believe that he left his home on his own volition, basically as a runaway, and took the ferry from Edmondson to Kingston, and I think this is in Canada, up there in Washington State.
Yeah.
Later that night, his backpack was found last May by a high steel bridge near Shelton in Mason County. The teen had no history of running away. He was a middle child of 4 sisters. He was homeschooled. In his free time, he used to like to make furniture out of wood and metal. He enjoyed hiking and riding motorcycles. His information, along with his DNA, has been entered into a federal database of CODIS and missing persons for data. I'm sure they entered it into CODIS and also into the missing person database. He's 5'11", 145 pounds, blue eyes, light brown hair. Now,
this is the one
This was the one. he's been gone since 2016 is what it is. Let me see if I get.
I watched a video today.
Yeah, it's April the 19th of 2016. And let me say this. They think that he maybe he was talking online with someone. Maybe he had just thought about an adventure. He mentioned to somebody that he would like to hike the trail. The trail, I think it's the Olympic Trail that runs from California to Washington. But that is a pretty challenging trail, and also there's a lot of people that hike that trail. They said that he found his pack and with all of his stuff in it. So obviously he either left with somebody else, got taken by somebody else, or they don't know.
Okay.
But he has not been found, and there's tons of stuff on the internet that he has been found. Go ahead.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
I looked at his name, and I looked at the report on him and saw the report. His sister said how much she missed him and couldn't imagine life without him and all. And then I saw he's been found. And so I went and watched it, and he hadn't been found. That just is infuriating.
It's clickbait. That's what they call it. They call it clickbait.
Yeah, because you have to wait till the end.
Right. Or when people put stuff like that up there, it's really, I'll almost, if I'm subscribed to somebody and they start doing a lot of clickbait, there's a couple on RV channels that I subscribe to, and they're seriously bad about doing clickbait. And I just got to where I don't watch it because it just, and surely on these especially, it'd be different if you have something that you're doing for an RV channel or something that's information channel or sports channel. You say, guess who's traded, that's different. But you're talking about some kid that's missing. And when you say so-and-so's been found, then if I didn't go and watch the video, I could just say, why should I even look for them? Or why should I try to, if say I saw him out somewhere, well, he's been found.
T.S. Jackson
it's very
said,
dangerous.
No, Tyson Draper says he is quitting.
Tyson Draper's quitting?
That's what she said. When you said, I'm going to be butting up against Tyson, that's what she said.
Oh, I haven't heard that. I haven't been over there. I know that Dusty would like to, he's made the comments that he would like to have this as his full-time job. I can't imagine Tyson quitting, not now. He's got a good following, and he's... so
I don't know. I think, T.S. Jackson said he got really angry when YouTube zapped his live stream of the Oklahoma jail riot. There's a long explanation on his community page.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I got a copyright strike against me because I played that news report the other night on the trafficking of women, and they demonetized that video. And here's what I thought about. And they took the video, they took all the sound off the video. Here's what I thought about that video. I thought I wouldn't get a monetized strike because that is something that needs to be put out there for everybody to see. It's not that I'm stealing their video. I'd be glad to give them 100% of credit for that. But it's just, so I'm very, very, very reluctant about putting any news media on these channels because they will strike you. And if you get 3 strikes, you can actually get demonetized. Now, I think last month I made $8 off of YouTube of their actual paying me for ads. So it's not like I'm getting rich on ads.
Oh, but, in the right video, they had the N-word that got him in trouble.
Oh. Well, here's what I say about that, and I bet
you can hear it on the music videos. Every
rap music out there has that on there, and they play Eminem all the time on YouTube, and it's full of it. And they can't say that he's black and he has a right to say it because Eminem is white.
This is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
We become a bunch of snowflake softies. Hey, if y'all want to hurt my feelings, all y'all need to do is tell me a week in advance, and I'll take them out of my pocket and put them on my shoulder. How about that?
I mean, I wouldn't say the word there, but playing a video of somebody saying it.
A riot that's going on.
A riot that's going on. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, to me, we cannot be so touchy about every little thing. You know, people can get their feelings hurt over the stupidest things. And personally, I am really bad about hurting people's feelings because I say what I think and what I mean. And, you know, I don't mean to be ugly about it. And I hope that y'all don't think I am. But, you know, I mean, I love people. And the last thing I want to do is hurt them.
And I don't know. It's just, I hope he does not quit.
The prisoners were yelling it and it got him in trouble.
I'm hoping that he does not quit. I think he's got a good channel and he does some good, you know. The day I feel like we're not doing any good, then I'll quit. But I don't think that that's going to come anytime soon. You know.
Not if I keep the whip going.
No. I mean, we hope to build up our other channel, not just because we want to get monetized through YouTube. I mean, it's good if they want to pay me, you know, $5-6 a month. I'm very pleased with that. But we want to share our life too, you know, on the road, and we're getting closer to being on the road full time. The end of the month, we'll be there one way or the other.
Jasmine, that's right. People look for a reason to be offended. How many times have you heard somebody say, well, I'm going to go to see so-and-so, but I know that we're going to get into a fight because every time we get together, she says this and he says that, you know, all that kind of stuff. I had a friend that did that constantly with her mother-in-law. I know she's coming to stay and she's going to come in and she's going to say this and do that. And I looked at her one day and I said, I don't even know why your mother-in-law comes because you done figured out everything that's going to be said and done and you're already mad before she gets here. Oh, wait, let me tell that story real quick. So this guy decides his lawnmower broke and he needs to go and borrow his neighbor's lawnmower. So he starts over there and in his mind, he has this conversation. He asked him to borrow his lawnmower. And the guy says, well, you know, I'm not real sure you know how to use it. And he just goes on and on and on in his mind. And he's talking about how the guy's going to make excuses. He gets up there and he knocks on his neighbor's door and his neighbor comes to the door and he said, I don't want to borrow your lawnmower anyway.
We had an offer on the house today. It's a little bit less than what we want for it. So we're kind of going to call a realtor and get their idea of what the house is really worth. But we are happy that we are moving closer to getting on the road full time. And towards the end of the month, we're going to stage the house if we haven't sold it, and we're going to take off. So,
can I show them around the room at what we've got a stage? Because oh my gosh,
this is a room I'm worried about. I'm going to take out all this some of our light. We're going to, of course, all of these big lights that I have here. They're going to my son's house.
Are they?
Yeah.
Why didn't you take them?
Because we wouldn't have no lights.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But we'd appreciate it to go over at the number 1 million-mile road trip and
hey, can we
subscribe
say
the channel. Hold on 1 minute. This is our thing that we have. Go ahead, Dina.
Okay, can we say a quick prayer tonight for Duncan's parents?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I cannot even imagine what they're going through. So y'all, it won't be a long prayer. I know some people don't like the long prayers. I'm just going to say a quick prayer. If you don't want to hear it, then go ahead and sign off, and hopefully we'll see you another day. But I feel like that Duncan's parents need prayer. Father, we come to you right now, and God, we just pray for Marquise Duncan's parents. God, they found out today that their son is no longer with them. God, I pray that you will wrap your arms around them. God, let them lay their head on your chest and hear your heartbeat and know, God, that this didn't catch you off guard. And God, I pray that you will give them a peace that passes all understanding. And I pray, God, that his blood is crying out to you right now from the ground. And I pray that the person or people who did this to him will be found out, and they will be brought to court and be ordered to pay the price, whether it's life in prison or the death penalty, whatever it is, God, that you will be the final judge. And so, God, we just ask that you would give the police officers wisdom and guidance, and God, that they would find who killed this fine young man. God, we just praise you. We thank you in advance for what you're going to do for his family. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And we got a little video tonight of the big dog that I was trying to play last time.
Hey, can I tell y'all something? Tommy said that Maggie wasn't smart enough to learn how to do this. What the big dog did, she's learning it. And I'll show you one of these days soon.
The center. Okay, watch this.
You get
Okay,
it?
all right.
Okay, I like teaching him all these weird. Okay, sit, shake, the other paw. Okay, down. Oh, he doesn't like lay down. It's okay. Okay, center. Go.
Oh,
That's it.
Oh,
that is awesome.
Good. That is very good.
Oh,
I have like his rag on standby.
Oh, you got that?
good Lord.
No bite. No
That's
bite.
good. Stop. No.